All right, we're back with another video. I'm gonna walk you guys through the process of changing the oil on this 2023 RMZ 250. Let's get to it. All right, so we got the bike all warmed up. I like to start it, let it run for a couple minutes. You don't have to go too crazy on this. Just enough to circulate the oil, get the radiators hot. Yeah, now it's time to get it on the triangle stand and get it leaned over and get the oil draining. All right, so these are the tools you're gonna need. You're gonna need a 12 T-handle, 14 T-handle, obviously a funnel, ratio right, drain pan, oil of choice. I use the Motul 300V. It's a little expensive, but that's the oil that I've received the most clutch life out of and seems to keep the bike running really well, as well as some paper towels. Yep. All right, so on the 250, you got two drain bolts. You got this one here, this forward drain bolt. It's rear drain bolt. Once you get them cracked loose, get your drain pan on there. Spin them off. Be aware of the crush washer that are on these bolts. Sometimes they stick to the motor and either fall off and go into the oil pan when you take this bolt out, but ours is still on there and it seems to be in pretty decent shape, so get that off. I already cracked these loose, don't worry, they weren't finger tight. So yeah, once you get these off of there, this one's a little long, so just be careful. Get these off of there. Crush washer still on there, so let your oil drain, and once it's done draining, we'll start the next step. Another thing too on these RMZ 250s, there's this little 12 mil nut right here. That's just another drain bolt. The screen is back there, so you're going to want to pop that off and take the metal screen out of there and clean it all up with some contact cleaner before you put the new oil in. So this is what the screen looks like here. It's got a little magnet in there. I just want to spray this off with contact cleaner and then blow it out with an air compressor. Just be careful you don't get any metal shavings in your eye. It'd be a bad day. And the crush washer and the little cap for it. So while oil is draining, it's a good time to clean all this stuff up and get it ready to reassemble once all your oil's drained. All right, so we got the drain bolts back in there. Just tighten those things up. Make sure your crush washers are on there. Tighten them up. Refer to the owner's manual for torque specs, but I usually just snug them up. You don't want to go too crazy and strip these things out and have even more problems. So let's get this thing leaned over and change the oil filter. All right, let's get this oil filter cover off. Alright, so once you get your cover off, kind of just lay it all out like this. There's a little spring right there that sits in that little hole in the oil filter. Don't forget to put that back in when you reinstall your new one. Cool thing about these too, you can use your spring loader right here, so you can get your little pick in there and just kind of wiggle it around, pull it out of there, make a mess like I do, which is great. So get that out of there, put that down there, that's it. And then always get a clean paper towel, clean rag, whatever you're using. I like these blue paper towels just because they don't leave any any little residue or little, you know, regular paper towels, they kind of leave that little fuzz back down in there. So I like these blue shop towels. Just get this all cleaned up and install the new oil filter. All right, so now that that's all cleaned up down in there, I take a little bit of oil and I put it in the cap, and just kind of throw some oil on this. This way you're not putting it in there dry. So just this rubber part, get it wet, so slides in there real nice. Get down in there, push down, nice and easy. Take your little spring. Get your spring, make sure that's all cleaned up. Put the spring down in there, and it sits in there nice. You don't have to worry about it falling out or anything. This is kind of another reason why I lean it over, just so I'm not fighting the spring. It just all lays down in there nice. And then get this cover all ready. I usually, before I put this cover on, I put a little bit of oil on this. I gotta clean this up, but put a little oil on this just so it slides in there nice. And this little arrow here tells you what way to go. So yeah, get this cleaned up, oiled up, and back on there. All right, so we got the cover back on there. Note that this bottom bolt is going to be longer than the top one. If you mix them up, you know, it won't work because the shorter bolt won't even catch the threads in this bottom hole. So just take your time while you're doing this, because that spring's going to give you a little bit of tension wanting to push the cover back off. So take your time, wiggle it around a little bit, make sure you're not ripping the O-ring. That's another reason why I put oil on there. And then tighten those up. Don't go too crazy on them or strip them. And then, yep, you're ready to stand this thing back up, throw some oil in it, and start her up. All right, so we got the bike all upright. Put the skid plate on before I got it up on the stand. I got my funnel in there. Nice handy dandy tool to hold your funnel against your frame so it's not falling out while you're pouring your oil. I put 1100 cc's in this because we did an oil filter. I go about 1050 without an oil filter just to be safe. So I'm gonna get this oil dumped in here and move on to the next step. All right, so we're all good there. Got the oil cap back on. And what's nice about the 250, there isn't this on the 450, but see down in there, you can check your sight glass, make sure your oil level's good. I'm gonna start this thing up and double check it one more time, you know, to be ready to rip. All right, so that's a wrap on an oil change for a 2023 RMZ 250. This also works for model years 19 to 23. They're all the same chassis, same engine. It might even work farther back than that, but I'm not sure. So just double check your service manual. Like I said, make sure you pay attention to detail, run some good oil in your bike, and it'll last a long time. So I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for the next video.